come to Spain!
You know, for me, I've always kind of seen the Space as the Rolls Royce of clubs.
Oh, the main room sound system.
Space to me means Ibiza, you know. It was one of the first clubs I went to when I was 16, 17, you know.
There is the most beautiful people per square meter in the whole world, you know.
When I first came here in 1985, I wasn't expecting Space Club at all. The only clubs I knew that was on the island at the time was Coup Club, the Star Club, another club called Manhattan's, Glories, Angels, and Simon. These were the only clubs. Oh, and Esperidis, of course. So these are the clubs I kind of came to have a look at. But Space, 89, eventually opened. It was the official after hours club. So I was like, wow, you go to a club at 7? All right, give me some of that. So I went to that club and I just found that there was nothing else that I experienced anywhere else in the world that was offering the kind of entertainment that they were.
At the beginning, this place, it was 300 people capacity. We begin and continue growing and growing and growing. At the moment, we convert this small club of 300 people capacity on more than 4,000.
To have that experience for 3 or 4 years going as a punter and then now being on the reverse side of Space is incredible. You know, I've had some amazing experiences in Space over the years.
What you did was you stayed outside until you got really hot and you was right, I'm going to go hear some techno and freeze myself to death, and then go inside, listen to the techno and freeze yourself to death. And when he came out of the dark room, he came out into the terrace and he went, oh, sunglasses back on again, and then he kind of chilled down. You'd never experienced it anywhere.
This is one of the first places we played in 99 or something. Yeah, there you go. It was like that airplane coming over.
I kind of found Space, you know, or Space found me.
I think what the club has experienced in Space is the diversity of the club as well. You know, you've got the main room, which is just pure pounding techno. You know, you've got this dark room, which is with this amazing sound, this great, you know, crazy production in there. So you get that one experience. Then you've got, you know, the terrazza, which used to be open and now it's closed, but you still get that sort of outdoor vibe to it. You know, you sort of have, you know, more houseier acts on there. You've got this real sort of nice sort of balcony that goes all the way around the edges. So you're getting every sort of experience within Ibiza in one club, you know, and I think that's what makes it so special.
I was playing the terrace in the early days, and going to the terrace and know what it was all about at the begin with. It was basically just a lounge outdoor area, but I could see potentially that you could turn this into something pretty cool. So the speakers that was on the four corners in the club, I basically turned them around onto the dance floor, got the bass speakers that were there and then turned them onto the dance floor, got all the cushions and stuff out of the way. There was no DJ booth or anything, so we got a table from some outside of the back somewhere and plonked the table in, took the turntables from behind the bar. So we did the party for BBC Radio 1 at the time, because they were coming over for their weekends, and this was supposed to be the after party for them. And we had 1,000 people turn up.
Well, here is the area where we had open air terrace, the very famous open air terrace, where I always said there is the most beautiful people per square meter in the whole world.
It was always about the terrace and going and seeing DJs play on the terrace.
People then could feel a nice situation that was happening in the club, or which people really enjoyed, you know, daytime clubbing. And so Space really became very popular for this those type of sessions, and also me too, because when I started playing, I was playing from maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon all the way through to 8 o'clock in the evening.
At the beginning, the first party that we make for a long-term time, it was Wheel Off on Sundays.
We did 2 cream after parties. We did Pasha and then here in 1994. Funny little story of one of them. Chemical Brothers were doing one of them. Pepe went into the booth after we'd been on for 10 minutes and said, "You need to come off." I put David Morales on. It took me 14 years to get the Chemicals back in after that. But that's the first parties that I did here, and I guess that laid the foundation.
We did open at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we did go on until next day at 6 o'clock in the morning. That was 24 hours party, 22 hours party.
It's harder to create the magic, I guess. That is what it's all about. That terrace used to have it every single Sunday. With the roof off pre-2005, and I guess that's the halcyon days of the space of the terrace. It is still possible to create those moments, and that really, without sounding like too much of a cliche, it's possible to still do that in space.
And 30 people working at the beginning. Now we raise over 200 people working here.
It's probably the most asked question that I get really for people who are inquisitive about how the party's put together, when it's put together, who buy. The truth is, we never really stop.
The work starts the previous year, even before the closing of the previous year.
To put on a night at Space, it's a lot of fucking hard work.
So really, we've been preparing for this summer since the end of last summer, in truth.
And the game this year is tenfold. All we're doing is trying to get ahead of the game over and over and over and over again to make sure that we are at the pinpoint.
Clubland and club life comes and goes so quickly. Things come and go. The managers come and go so quickly. Ideas, the music, people spending, people going out to hear a certain type of music, all changes so quickly.
2008, we've gone from garage to drum and bass to breakbeat to techno to house to again, over and over again.
History's nice to read about, but in reality, as a promoter, you're only as good as your last party, and I can't ever afford to forget that. And I guess that's that's at the centre of the way we view putting the parties together.
But one thing's for sure is that you go to space, nothing changes apart from that when you go there, you're going to have the best time possible, no matter what.
What we try and do is to put on a night that we would like to go to. That is the truth. It's all about trying to get those magic moments, and that does often mean you may be a bit more commercial, or you want to entertain people a bit more than you normally would, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
I played a record, I think it was Daft Punk at the time, something One More Time or something like that, and as I was playing the record, the wind took the record and it just flew off the turntable and flew into the crowd. We were like, did you just see that? There's no music. So I was like, oh, I really want to play this record. So I got the mic, because somebody bring the record back. We found the record, pulled it back, put it back down again, and I played the record again. And I got on the mic and said, and I think I was saying, Even God Can't Stop Us playing music or something, and played one more time, and the place went completely mental.
I think the reason why Space is still the top of its game is because the attention to detail that everyone at the club does. You know, everything from the nights itself, from Carl's Night, the Revolution, all the way to We Love on the Sunday. You know, everything's the attention to detail is amazing.
Well, in my opinion, the crowd, when it comes to Space, they expect something different that they are used to receive.
So we always, our own night, we always have a certain type of look and feel to our night. We keep it fresh every year, and so people, when they walk in every year, it looks different. There's a certain amount of production we put in there.
Every party makes different atmosphere, different ambience, and so on. You can see now they prepare this open air area for Enter. Enter makes the decoration every year new, and the ambience, they go to Japanese atmosphere. The Space is not the conventional club that you can see everywhere, because it seems more like a theater than as a normal club. It means that the parties, every party has a subject, has a soul.
It doesn't just look like a normal club, it looks like something that you're walking into, or someone's conceptual idea, which has basically enhanced the club in some way, because everyone wants to outdo everybody, because every week now there's a different kind of concept in the club night, from Enter to Cafe Ole to El Row.
Space Ibiza is without doubt one of the greatest clubs in the world. But one thing that really makes it stand out is its legendary sound system.
The sound, is probably one of the best sound systems on the island. The Function One guys like Hugo that are always servicing it do such a great job. From Tony, from the installation.
They were basically talking to Tony Andrews to develop something on the terrace which would be much better than anything that you've ever heard, and absolutely completely blew the glasses off the table, which then got them into a lot of trouble with the neighbours. Which they had to eventually put a roof onto the club because there was too much sound going out. I was like, that sounds interesting. Let me hear this sound system. So I went there, I heard it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. So we got them to basically make a sound system for the main room.
The main room sound system, one of the best sound systems in the world. It's amazing.
We actually did something pretty customised for this room.
Over the years, he's developed it. Every year there's always different stacks, different speaker codes, different amplifiers, different processors to get it true sound of club music.
If you don't do something new and experimental, you're not going to move forward. So this is what we tend to do. And Space are great people to work with because they appreciate what we do and they allow us the freedom to if you like, take it further.
For the opening and closing, they gave it to us the permission to open in this flight area where we make a big production, as you know, that we increase the capacity and we go on 10, 12, 15,000 people.
The opening party, for me, it's my favorite, I have to say, from the summer.
The opening parties are amazing because it's always the beginning of the season, so the energy there is always incredible.
Hi everybody, this is a Space Opening Party 2014. We are acrobatic and we are getting ready for Make Big Party! Yeah.
For the opening party, there was that kind of magic. You could see it only watching when the people start to get into the area, and you see this big smile of the people.
We bring the steel workers, we bring the daddy, we bring the kids. Everyone's crazy here.
They are the history of the space. I mean, we are a club, but the history of this club is the people who has been coming here for 25 years.
I would never have thought that me being at Space was going to have this kind of continued success over such a long period of time. If I knew that, I would have got a bigger loan from the bank. You know, I would have said, oh yeah, I've got a great job at Space in Ibiza for 15 years, guaranteed money, no problem. And I would have borrowed the money and gone, right, there you go, for 15 years I'm going to pay you back. I never thought that was going to happen.